Namaste. So I want to give you, an overview of ZeroTrusted.AI as a company. Hopefully you've been watching our demos, you've been going on trying the product, you've been getting some insights on how you're going to use it for your AI projects. But, just an overview from a company perspective, we develop safe, secure, and trustworthy AI. And part of how we do that, and this is really important too, is it's not just our AI, right? This is our platform is meant to enable your AI projects, your AI agents, your large language models to be much more secure. And also, we built a lot of things in the back end so that we can really evaluate where you are from a security, privacy, reliability, and AI ethics perspective so that you can enable your platforms to meet a lot of requirements. Let's just go into the high level architecture here. I like this picture from Gartner. It's the AI Trism. So, that is really the generative AI trust, risk, and security management. And this shows a good portion of our components, but not all of them. So, one thing, just as a note that isn't in this drawing from an AI Trism perspective, is the ability of our platform to build secure agents and secure RAG. So, retrieval augmented generation, fancy word for contextually aware capabilities that you want to use your information, your data, and your documents to create the right answers for your questions or for your agents, right? So that's something that's not in here, but this is a really good high level picture of how our tool works. First is the inline runtime. We call that the AI firewall. And, that's the guardrails. You're going to hear this all the time. A lot of the third party organizations that develop large language models, small language models, and agents will tell you, hey, look, we've got guardrails. And that's good, and that's fine and all, but as we all know, trust but verify. So we provide that additional layer of guardrails so that if you accidentally upload something, you don't want to train their model on your specifics, and I know they say they don't, but usually a lot of these companies ask for forgiveness later. So it's just better to be able to enable those guardrails in real time. And so we provide those, obviously. We call that our AI firewall. And then there's the AI governance piece. And we took this a step further too. This is this offline continuous, but for us, it's really this deep enumeration of the model. Is the model working correctly? And there's a lot of, metrics out there to be able to look for response and how well the model responds. And we're really looking from a security and privacy perspective. Is this intended use of this model? Is it responding correctly? Is the data starting to drift? Does it have copyright or plagiarism? Is it breaking security or privacy rules? Is there ethic things it's not doing? So we want to scan that over time, and you do that with our AI health check. And then on the bottom there, the traditional technology protection. This is probably where a lot of our competitors are, because all the cyber companies now say they do AI, and they're kind of, not built for this specific application, but we work with them anyway. So we interconnect our logs, a lot of the ways, everything you can do on our platforms via API. And, we like to enrich that data for that traditional technology protection. So we use a lot of security content automation protocols, and that's even with our deep enumerations, the models from an AI health check perspective. So where we used, we're actually used across a lot of sectors. And so originally the platform was built for the military. And what we wanted to do is provide, the military wants to do zero trust architecture across their enterprise, but they also have some really sensitive data within the organizations. And sometimes that can't even be shared, with other users. So we built this ZeroTrusted.AI platform to, do a good job of anonymizing the sensitive data. We have some additional encryption at rest, in motion, in transit that you can't see. And so when we built that, what happened was we started plugging in a lot of these security, privacy, reliability, and AI ethics capabilities. And we noticed that if it doesn't really matter what sector you're in, really, you all have sensitive data. There's a lot of high compliance out there that you need to afford your organization and protect. And with AI being fairly immature and, kind of, for lack of a better word, something that's being continuously improved and not always when it comes to security and privacy, we want to provide a third party capability so that, you could trust but verify these models. AI compliance is at our core. This is really, we understand that, look, you're going to use these models. They're going to enable your business to do great things, but we want to be able to provide you that extra context on, yeah, are you meeting, your security, your privacy, your reliability, and your AI ethics requirements. And so if you think about that, let's say you're using AIs for payments. Now we have to think about PISDSS, right? You're using it in the EU, so you're going to want to ensure that you're implementing those artificial intelligence acts requirements. If you're using it in government or for the government, you're going to be using those NIST Special Publication 853 requirements. If you're implementing the AI risk management framework or that ISO framework with AI, you're probably 42001. You're going to be looking at, what are the specifics that my models are they checking for security, privacy, reliability, and ethics, and how are we doing that? And really, if you just have any type of personnel, health, or personally identifiable information out there, you want to make sure that you're checking against those requirements on your models and your agents. So we enable that, and so we monitor that, and we give you that enriched information on how you're going to be able to do that. This is high level. This just shows that each one of our components are run standalone, but still allow you to do that deep enumeration, the input tokens, the output tokens, the access to the models, allows you to use multiple models. It does consensus, and then we have an AI judge in the middle there that's going to help you get to the right answer for your organization. Plus, you own all that fine tuning data, which if you just do it on a single model, that's not going to happen. This also is one of the areas that we see a lot of organizations just trusting these third-party models. They're like, well, they said it was secure and we signed it, I don't know, that we didn't really look at the T&Cs and we're uploading all our data into these models and it's providing us great output. They do that. They provide great output. But what we want to do is provide that additional layer, right? So we want to look at that your unsanitized data. We want to look at your organizations, how they're set up from security privacy perspective. We want to look on the output tokens for reliability. We're going to look for plagiarism, copyright issues, any type of prompt injections, and they're going to give you a reliability score that you and your organization can keep up to date. So you're going to be able to put that human reinforced learning in there into the models, and then you own that data, not the models. That's where if you just use one model right now and you're giving little, fingers up, fingers down on something, thank you, you're training their model. They appreciate that. And how do we deploy? And we get this asked a lot. But remember, going back to my original, discussion about how this platform was developed, and one thing you have to think about is that our customers were going to, deploy this on premise in places that may or may not be connected to normal internet. So that's how it was developed. We do have a SaaS product. You can go on AWS or Azure or AWS GovCloud or Azure GovCloud and download it, integrate it into your Boundary AI system or components you're creating, or you can just deploy it on premise, right? You might have a really great set of documents that are very sensitive, and you've decided you're going to train, I don't know, Llama with those documents to give you responses for your employees, and you never want that thing to go outside. We deploy that way, so you don't have to worry about a SaaS if you don't want to, but if you want a SaaS, we have it. So we just want to make sure that we cover the entire architecture. And last but not least on this too is we have customers that do hybrid, right? They have first party models. They've either taken an open source model and trained it to their specific data, or they're doing a RAG model. So they're doing that retrieval augmented generation model, making it contextually aware with their data, so it answers questions or uses tools in their organization. But they want to check, if that information's up to date and valid. So they'll use us almost as a middleware to reach out to the third party models via API, secure API calls, and we'll check that for them. So, our deployment and the way our customers deploy us are, on premise, on cloud, and hybrid. So we deploy any way you want because we know your mission and the way you're going to deploy AI is going to be different for every customer in every sector.